Today I want to talk about Celeste. Celeste is one of those games that I have seen and heard about for basically since it was released, and I hadn't wanted to jump into it because I always felt like it was going to be ridiculously hard, kind of in the same vein as games like Super Meat Boy, for example, where each level is hard and it just continually gets harder and harder and harder, and it's one of those precise platformers that I thought I wasn't able to beat. Then Cole, who doesn't like platformers, a couple years back actually played through Celeste and made a video talking about Celeste, and I thought to myself, you know, I actually like platformers. The fact that he could get through the game, I should easily be able to get through it. No offense to Cole or anything. So I decided to finally pick up and play Celeste. Celeste was released back in 2018 on multiple different platforms. It is a platforming game made by Maddie Makes Games. I don't know if that's the name of the studio now, but that's the one that's credited with the game. By March of 2020, it had sold over 1 million copies, so Celeste is a big indie game, one that most people have heard about in all reality. The gist of Celeste is you play as Madeline, who is struggling with some mental and emotional issues like depression and anxiety, and the story kind of goes hand in hand with the gameplay, which is really cool. But the gameplay is very simple. Jump from platform to platform, you can dash, you can climb walls, you collect these strawberries along the way with the goal of just getting to the end of each level. With the basic gameplay, you can jump and dash, but you can only dash once unless you hit one of these green diamonds, which replenishes your dash ability. So it makes for solving certain puzzles pretty fun. The level layout of this game is actually really cool. I love the aesthetic, I love the atmosphere, I love the art style. All the levels are very unique too. There's not very many of them, but some of them can go on for quite a long time. What's really fun for me with these types of games, and it's very reminiscent to some of the old classic platformers, although the newer modern ones I feel are far better in the regard of lives. In newer platformers, there's not really a live system, which I really like, because a lot of these levels are very segmented, where you have to get through this room, and once you get through this room, then there's a next room that's really hard, and there's a puzzle to solve and precise platforming to do. You get through that, then there's a next room, and every time you die, it's very seamless, especially in Celeste. You die, you respawn very quickly, you can jump right back in and continue to retry. So there's not really a life system, which is great. Take older games like Crash Bandicoot, for example, where there is lives. You're trying to do a lot of these harder platforming sections. You continue to die, but you only get like 5 or 6 tries unless you go grind lives, which nobody likes grinding in video games, okay? Nobody. There's some other modern games that I have played too that I really like this very seamless restarting. Like as soon as you die, you get a retry. It's all about speed, I guess, and Celeste is a very notorious game for speedrunning. It's really cool. If you haven't looked into speedruns of Celeste, you should, because it's mind-blowing. Anyway, some of the games that I really like that do the Celeste format, and I guess I'll call it the Celeste format just because that's the game I'm talking about today, but Ghost Runner's one of them that does it. I know Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair has a very similar thing where you're doing sections, and when you die, you just seamlessly restart. There's a game called Sayonara Wild Hearts. I know that the new Neon White game is very similar to that as well, where a lot of these platformers are based upon speed and continuing to retry. So I'm fine with devs making the game hard, but also give me the opportunity to restart that hard and continue to try until I master it. Make that super seamless and really fast, because nobody likes getting a game over and going back to the start menu, and then clicking that, and then going into the level, clicking into the level, and then you have to play all the level all the way back up to where you got to, only to die 5 more times, so you have to do that all over again. So I really like the new way that platformers do this, and I'm sure there's older platformers that have done that in the past. I mean, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. And I still know that there are modern platformers like Mario, for example, 2D Mario games that still use lives. I think that there was lives in Mario Odyssey. Instead of losing lives, you would lose coins, I'm pretty sure, whenever you died. Anyway, doesn't matter. I really like the speed of Celeste. The platforming feels so smooth and so seamless, and there's so many sections where you'll do it and you're like, man, It just makes you feel so cool when you finally master it. There's certain sections that I probably died 10, 20 times just trying to master it, but once you get it, oh, it feels so good. One of my favorite parts was towards the end of the game where it has you climbing this giant mountain. That's kind of the whole point of Celeste, is you're trying to climb to the top of the mountain. It's actually really, really cool. It's super fun, and the music, oh man, the music in this game is so freaking good. Celeste has a banger soundtrack. I think another reason too, going back to why I hadn't played Celeste until now, was I remember seeing the DLC, and the DLC was free. And I think I may have seen the DLC first prior to the base game, because the base game is very doable, by the way. I beat it in 6.5 hours. It was really fun. I didn't get all the strawberries. I'm not really a completionist of any video games. Every now and then I'll dabble because I get really addicted to a game and want to try and complete it. Regardless, I didn't get very many of the strawberries, and the game's very doable. So if you're afraid of playing Celeste, don't be, because if I can beat it, anybody can beat it. Going back to the DLC though, I think that was the first thing I saw, and oh my goodness, the DLC for this, although it is free, it is extremely difficult. I have seen speedruns of this, which is mind-blowing, but I've also seen lots of YouTubers that I watch talk about Celeste and the DLC and how extremely difficult it is. You watch gameplay of the DLC and you just think, man, this is borderline impossible for a normie gamer like myself, which is what I thought exactly, and I have not touched the DLC. I don't think I ever will, just because of the sheer amount of frustration and retrying. There's a great video by Yakko CMN that talks about the DLC, and you can see his struggle to kind of master it and eventually beat it, which he did, but I think he died over like 1,300 times. Regardless, I am not that patient. As patient of a gamer as I am, I love Souls games, I'm not that patient. I got my fill of Celeste, I played the base game, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I want to have good memories with Celeste and not frustrated, horrible, angry memories with Celeste. So, as of right now, I have no desire to play the DLC, but I can appreciate and watch somebody else do it and respect the fact that they can do it. Once again, the speedrunning of Celeste is incredible. But yeah, that is Celeste. That's my thoughts on Celeste. I think it's a fun, simple platformer. It's got a pretty deep narrative if you really dive into it. A lot of people have really connected with the narrative of Celeste and the character of Madeline. It's a fun game. It's really quick. If you like platformers, if you like jumping around and feeling like a badass, you should play Celeste. It's really good. And if you're not going to play Celeste, at least listen to the soundtrack, because that's really good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below on Celeste. Let me know if I'm a baby for not trying the DLC, not even trying it. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.